So we are here with the first episode of what I'm calling Small Talk. So under this new brand, B2C Creative, I want to start creating a platform where we had a spot for industries to talk with other industries about some of the things that are working for them. Got my friend Karla here. How are you doing?
Hi, good, how are you?
Doing amazing, doing amazing. So Karla, somebody I had a chance to meet via Small Talk. We met at Texas Tea Tavern, her and her husband. He's construction development owner. You're on the real estate agent side. They've had attempts at trying to throw events, did a lot of work. That's why I'm a big believer in the venues should be funding the event startups, and Texas Tea was able to do that. We ended up launching something called Real Estate, which is now Real Estate Social. And we're now moving to Velvet Oak Tavern. Real Estate Social is becoming a media networking event, giving agents a chance to build their own brands, but also connecting investors, let them network with each other and talk about the deal flow. But throughout this process, I've had a chance to get to know Karla, and I've got a chance to learn the inner workings of what it's like being a day-to-day real estate agent. And you're a super nice person, but I want you to go ahead and tell me, how are you using hospitality in your side of the industry?
Well, I do have a background in customer service, so I would like to say that because I'm helping people find their home has to start with me. Because the real estate transactions that they're going to put their money in is one of the biggest transactions of their life. I want to make sure that what I bring to them is, a warm welcome, a lot of trust, really, because it's a lot of money. So making sure that home starts with me is my biggest priority with my clients. Being able to host events and network with other people where the hospitality matters to those serving us just as much as what we serve to others has been important and really the key connection for all of us.
And these places, these bars, these venues that you host at the end of the day, this is just a big barbecue. So for you to be able to leverage these services to host your own barbecue so that way you can focus more on the hosting, I think that's a great strategy and something that the venues need to be more on board with. Now, on the sales side of things, I know you talk about that when you selling a home, biggest asset of them all, but you're still on the sales side of things.
Right.
And what is that like once you have somebody in the midst of a transaction that's ready to close? What is that administrative process like, psychologically?
So at that point, you have to remember that, yes, you want to be personal with your client. I want to get to know you, what you want to do, what you like and dislike. But when it comes down to the paperwork and the transaction itself, it's not personal. So all of the advice that is given to my clients, it's not, the only way that it's personal is because I care that much for you to make an advised decision. Anything from the paperwork, the decisions that you make, from beginning to end of the transaction is purely professional.
And I know you trying to be nice because you're trying to do more client-facing talking, but on the business side of things, having to follow up with people, I think sometimes it's hard. It's like, yo, can you make sure you get this done? Yo, I need this paperwork. I need you to send the payment, or otherwise this wasn't go through. I know going from customer service where you just kind of like, it's all purple and rainbows, so now you're the business side of things. Talk about that transition and what it's like when somebody say they're ready to buy to you actually closing the deal.
Yeah, I think that I don't really have a transition because what has to be said has to be said. It's, hey John, the earnest money, the option fee are due 3 days after closing. This is your due date. It has to be done by 5, or we will not be under contract. We're in default of the contract. So as long as everything is clear to me and the delivery of that professional message of things that have to get done is still polite, that is really not that difficult for me to say. I think it's difficult when, if it's like the day before closing, my client's like, oh, I don't really like the house. Well, at that point it's like, hey John, I'm sorry. This walkthrough is not to see if you still like it or not. It's to make sure that it's all in condition that you wanted it, and you're still gonna have to buy it. If you don't buy it, you lose all your money. They could sue you for you to buy. That's on you. We'll have to lawyer up at that point.
I like it. You're always quick to throw the lawyer word out there.
I'm not trying to like scare people and like, oh, real estate is one big lawsuit, but you are signing legal documents that are binding. You are agreeing to sell me your home, and I am agreeing to buy your home. And if the day before the deal comes, I decide that I don't want to buy it anymore because I don't like it, wouldn't you be angry as a seller? Like, yes. You're about to get all that money from the home that you're selling. You probably have your next home already.
Yeah, it's already been deployed mentally.
Right, it's already a legal agreement. So the moment that the legal agreement does not get closed out, who is to blame? There's always a person, and there's always a consequence. So making sure that those consequences are laid out and they're very clear for my clients is important. It's not a joke. I don't show houses for fun. We don't buy and sell homes for fun.
But I think you brought a good point. It's like always setting expectations going into, you know, these business client relationships, even at the very beginning, like this is how I work with people, this is what's going on. So as I get to these steps later on, it's like I kind of told you this would happen if things went that way.
Right.
And that's even for your clients, but also the industry partners that you work with. Is that true?
It's true, and it's not always that easy when you come. I came from working with children, so everything was always, you know, we always take your feelings into consideration, and you matter, and everything is so great, and here's your prize for this. To it's straight business. Nobody cares about your feelings. Sure, we care about each other, but at the end of the day, we are all representing a client. So initially, it was really difficult for me to set those expectations because you don't want your tone to come off as, hey, John, do this. Hey, John, do that. Hey, I need this. You know, there's always ways to deliver the message, and I struggled a lot initially because you don't want to be too soft to where you're the weaker side of the table, but you don't want to be too strong to where you don't have any respect or any collaboration with the other side. Because in reality, we're not in competition. We're trying to collaborate. The end goal is the same. You want to make sure that we close, and I want to make sure that we close. So it's just, it takes practice and a lot of tough skin, because not everybody's nice on the other end.
And that's why when I hear a lot of people in the industry talking on the agent side, it's like I'm representing my client, representation. That's a big word when you talk about representation, because there's these micro battles, these micro situations that you are literally representing your client, like, yo, my client doesn't like that, you're doing this, and while their client is like doing their own life, handling their kids, handling their businesses. So I know a lot of new agents, when they come into the game, they probably think like, yo, it's gonna be just like TV. They're gonna be selling big luxury homes. And so, and I've been learning that it's not like that. It's really going through all the reps, messing up a lot to getting to this point right here.
Right.
So with these new agents, what is some advice you can give them to help them accelerate through the suck phase?
Yeah, man, don't be afraid. And if you are afraid, do it anyway. But find a sponsor, find a mentor, find somebody that's able to be there for you. I had a really good mentor. Her name is Ashley Burton Smith. I met her through one of the parents from my old job, and she literally grabbed my hand and guided me through everything. I was a week into real estate, and she was like, we're meeting at the office on a Saturday, we're gonna go through these contracts. And it helps you understand every single portion, because like I said, it's a legal document, so you need to know the ins and outs for your clients and for yourself. So mentor up.
And you don't want to find out the bad way what
You
something in
don't.
the contract means.
You
So,
don't.
oh, that was written in there? Yeah, I guess that says exactly what just happened.
Right. Ask the questions. Don't be afraid to ask the questions. Don't be afraid to find a mentor. A lot of the times, people that are experienced want to talk about their experience. They want to teach others. And it's a form of flattery, really. If I come to you and I'm like, hey, John, can you mentor me? At this point, I'm asking you to help build my business from nothing to something similar to yours. So I would say, just if you're a new agent, look for a mentor.
Because I mean, even when you're a mentor, there are some benefits to it. So that's why you can trust in the process. Because I always say, once you start teaching somebody something, you learn more about what you already know too, having to put it out there. But especially in the real estate industry, you're teaching some of these people who could be going out there finding you business as a mentor, as an investor. It's like, now I got some soldiers on the ground. And now with the concept we built with Real Estate Social, how do you think that as a concept could be beneficial to people within the industry?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you how I think it's beneficial. I'm going to remind you how it's beneficial. We hosted our first event here at Velvet, 2 months ago? There was an agent he's actually on our page, Darren. I think his name is Darren. I'm really bad with names sometimes. Darren came here and he was brand new. He's like, I'm here because I want to learn, I want to meet people. I had a chat with him, and our sponsoring lender, Mason, had a chat with him. We found him here. He found Mason, and Mason helped him find a new team that was able to better guide him and grow his business. And he texted me, I think, not even a whole month after Real Estates. And he was like, hey, I just want to tell you, I hosted my first open house. It was a hit. So coming to these events really does grow your business. It takes two. We provide you with the connections, and it's your job to make them. So while I help you meet, Mason or Priscilla or anybody else that we bring as sponsors, when they connect with you, it is your job to continue that connection, to ask for help. So it works. It's the proof is in the pudding. And people come here, they're making connections, they're ending up in places that provide them with the most education, which is what we need in the real estate industry as well. So I say bring it.
Because I think the people who are putting the effort out there to create these spaces are the type of people you want to be around.
Right.
You know, the people who are, you know what I'm saying, paying it forward in a sense because they understand the long-term benefits. I think anytime in a sales transaction, I always like to let people know what I'm getting too.
Right.
So that way people understand, like, this is why I'm going to go hard so that you can go hard. And these spaces, people are like, yo, why would I want to go to that event? That's going to be another wasted networking event. It's like, yo, these people are really putting forth a lot of energy. And even on the media side, like, I like to give some of these new agents at least some beginning collateral because especially coming from being a bottle girl or bartender, all you got is booty pictures and you chucking Casamigo shots on your page. It's like, bro, you need to get you some professional headshots. You need to have an interview talking about exactly what you do.
And we don't accept booty pics in real estate, no matter how cute they are.
I mean, they're booty pic girls selling houses.
Yeah, but it's really unethical. I mean,
send me a DM, please. But
I don't know. If you send them the DM, remember there's a class about ethics, you know, that we take through Trek. So yeah, it's always about who you represent. The more professional you are, the more connections you're gonna make, and it's the first impression, you know. So if your first impression is, hey, I'm new to the industry, but I'm creating my business by growing my name out here with these sponsors. Why not?
And then also, as we're talking about that, we're talking about the online brand development. How are you leveraging technology, marketing, AI?
Oh man. Okay, so we all know the basics, right? So post your open houses on social media and create these videos. I have not been as strong with my social media as I should be, and I know that you've been pushing me to do it.
And I mean, I just want to stress that when I say marketing, it's bigger than social media though. It's
Right.
email newsletters, updating websites, all of like a lot of things that go along with the marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, you do event marketing, so this is a good start.
Right, it's a portion. It's important. Everybody has a phone, everybody has an email, everybody texts, everybody calls. A lot of the times, agents don't want to make their calls. They don't want to cold call. They don't want to knock on doors. And in reality, if you're not doing all of those, then where are the connections happening? You know?
Do you ever think that sometimes that traditional way of doing it, it can be so much work that it can get you away from the new style of doing things because both of them take time, but now, bam, this is what's been told to work, so I gotta do that, versus like, bam, you know what, mathematically the other side could work.
Right. I mean, time is money, right?
Yeah.
So whether you're spending 2 hours door knocking or 2 hours media curating, it just depends on the effort that you put in, but 2 hours of work door knocking could get you 2 sellers, could get you 2 buyers. You know, the average home sales in Houston is what, 408,000? So if you're selling 2 $408,000 homes a month from 2 hours of door knocking, you made way more than what you invested. And if you are media curating for 2 hours, that exposure is not just the knock on the door. It's, hey, I shared your post today. Tomorrow somebody else is going to share your post. So in the long run, media curating, which is the new thing now, is taking you further than just door knocking. Because door knocking, you knock on their door one time, they either open or they don't. Let's say they open and they push you away. You still have to put effort. Now I'm going to send them a letter. Now I'm going to send them a gift card. Now I'm going to send them this. It's still more time for you versus media curating where hashtags work, collaborations work, exposure across different sites like emails, YouTube, Google, Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever it's called now. You know, everything works, but media curating is taking you further and for longer because like when you're a kid, they tell you whatever you put on the internet, it never goes away, and it really doesn't.
It doesn't.
So if you don't want to go away, I would say really invest in your media.
And that's what I've been really using the media sometimes too, is with these interviews or maybe with the house listing or something. Since it's on the internet, now I can share it to somebody else, and now it could be a lot more information in that post where I share to somebody else versus a business card. So I think that's one of the ways that people could be utilizing it. Like, bam, create this media. Now you can have your newsletters. Now, instead of door knocking, maybe you leave a card like, yo, scan this QR code to find out about the house that's coming available in your neighborhood right now. They enter their name, phone number, now you can invite them because I know with the open houses, typically the people who are in the neighborhood are primarily the people who end up showing the most, right?
Right. So if you really want it to work, you do like a mile radius, main streets, main crossroads that are coming to the home, but it's mostly neighbors. And, you know, they want to bring their friends. They want to see what upgrades the home has that they don't have. So yeah, mostly neighbors.
And I don't even know about her open houses. I just found out she's been doing them every single Saturday. But that's good. She has the door knocking to the open house funnel settled out. But these type of things we talk about at Real Estate Social. But we'll be developing an online community so that way that people can connect even if they aren't able to make it to the event. We'll upload some of the content that we make at these events up to Small Talk, as well as giving you guys some topics so that way that you can start talking to strangers. Because like I say, Small Talk is the best form of marketing. Being able to go out there, figure out what somebody wants, and then getting them into an ecosystem.
Yeah, and we're just people. One thing that
Yeah.
my mentor actually told me was, well, they're just a man, they're just a woman. It's nothing to be afraid of. You talk to someone, and if you click well, and if you don't, then it's really not the end of the world.
You literally forget about them. So many problems now.
Yeah,
We
out
don't
of
do it.
sight, out of mind.
Well, that is it. Small talk, first episode, out the gate. Pull up on us.